the All right, are we ready? Okay. One moment. Good evening. Call to order Common City Council for the City of Meeting for the City of Brookings for Monday, November 10th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. A roll call?
Councilor Malmberg.
Here.
Councilor Pareda. Here. Councilor Martin.
Here.
Councilor Fulton. Here. Mayor Hodges.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to item D, ceremonies, appointments, and announcements. We have a Veterans Day proclamation. Have anyone here for? Perfect. Sounds great. I will go ahead and read it. City of Brookings proclamation. Whereas on Veterans Day, we pause to honor those who have served in the United States Armed Forces, and whereas the Veterans Day holiday began in observance of the anniversary of the end of World War I as a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace. And whereas in service to this cause, veterans have made immeasurable contributions and great personal sacrifices in the most demanding of circumstances. An example from which we draw inspiration and for which we annually renew our fullest gratitude. And whereas as we honor our veterans, we are mindful that no ceremony can repay the debt owed to veterans for their courageous and devoted service. And whereas the following employees of the City of Brookings are veterans: Kelby McCrae, Army, Air National Guard, or Army National Guard, I believe. 22 years of service, was a major. Travis Wright, Coast Guard, 4 years of service, Petty Officer 2nd Class. Campbell Hill, Army, 3 years of service, Specialist. Sean Stevenson, Marine Corps, 5 years, Sergeant. Jason Berger, Air Force, 20 years, Technical Sergeant. Colin Kimball, Army and Coast Guard, 21 years, Chief Electrical Mate. Brandon Pareda, Army, 4 years as a Specialist. Curtis Lunsford, Marine Corps, 2 years, Lance Corporal. And in our Fire and Rescue Department, Wayne Scheffel, Marine Corps, 20 years, Gunny Sergeant. In Public Works, Guy Smith, Navy, 6 years, Petty Officer 2nd Class. And John Webb, Army, 8 years, Specialist. And in our Administration Department, here with us tonight, our City Manager, Tim Rundle, Air Force, 6 years, Staff Sergeant. Now therefore, I, Isaac Hodges, Mayor of the City of Brookings, do hereby proclaim this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2025, to be a day to honor the invaluable contributions of veterans, and in particular, the several veterans who are employees of this city. Veterans Day, and witness whereof I, Mayor Isaac Hodges, do hereto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Brookings, Oregon, to be affixed this 10th day of November, 2025. And I'm happy to do so. Yep.
Mayor, can we just, where you're going, so I don't have to step down?
Yeah, wherever you would like. Right here?
Well, with the city logo on it.
Perfect. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
All right. I'll make sure that gets.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
I moved in so Andy.
Moving on to item E, oral requests and communications from the audience. Do I have any? Okay. Excellent then. Moving on to item F, the consent calendar. There's 6 on here. To approve council minutes for October 13th, 2025. To accept the Parks and Recreation Commission minutes for July 24th, 2025. To receive monthly financial report for September 2025. The liquor license of the Elite Market 4. To cancel November 24th, 2025 City Council meeting, and to cancel December 22nd, 2025 City Council meeting, both of which would be due to holidays. Any discussion or a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Call to question?
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Pareda.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Excellent. Moving on to item G, staff reports, public hearings, ordinances, resolutions, and final orders. I don't know if, are we offline or?
No, the screens are not working, but everything else is.
Okay, just
And
checking.
I don't want to touch it because it might screw.
Don't touch it. Number 1 on the item G is playground equipment for Bud Cross Park. I believe that's you, Tony?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hodges, members of the council. You may recall the city of Brookings was awarded an Oregon Parks and Recreation Department local government grant for Bud Cross Park Day Use Improvement Area project. The project includes installation of a new playground, paved pathways, a day-use picnic area, landscaping, and retaining walls. The playground design and equipment were reviewed and approved as part of the grant proposal by the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department Committee. The proposed equipment includes a multi-activity structure, swings, sensory board, rubberized safety surfacing tiles, and the addition of a spinner merry-go-round relocated from Kidtown, enhancing accessibility and play value for all users. Playcraft Systems LLC provided a quote for the supply and installation of the equipment and surfacing totaling $123,638 and some change under Omnia Co-op contract R220203, an improved cooperative purchasing program authorized by city policy. This method meets public and procurement requirements and ensures competitive pricing. The installation will be completed by a Playcraft Systems certified playground installer. The improvements align with the city's parks master plan and goals of enhancing accessibility, safety, and family recreation opportunities at Bud Cross Park. I've included the quote, and I think in here there's sort of a plan layout, a copy of the resolution that was signed back in March of this year, and then also on the very back, a plan for the park, which does not include, we did not get awarded the large local government grant for, that would include the parking lot development, but it does include everything else. So with that, any questions?
I just have a comment. Thanks for your hard work on this, for all the staff. And again, it's great news that we received that grant. The part that's not funded, that isn't part of this tonight, but the paving of the walkways, is that something that we should look at for our budget for next year, or is it something that we'd apply for another grant?
The walkways are part of this project.
Also,
the parking lot itself, if you look at the plan on the very back.
Okay, so it's just the parking.
Just the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, the development of the parking lot's not included, but everything else is.
Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to echo what Councilor Martin said. It really, all the hard work that city staff goes through to secure these grants. Really appreciate all that hard work. I know Wendy worked hard on that and other staff as well. So really appreciate you guys being proactive and going after these opportunities to enhance our community.
Sure, I have a comment too.
The floor is yours.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
We have been waiting to see this project progress for the people community. I'm sure there will be plenty of great memories made there, so we're really excited to get this moving forward.
exciting. Okay,
I'll move to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Playcraft Systems LLC for the purchase and installation of playground equipment and surfacing at Bud Cross Park in the amount of $123,638.99, utilizing approved OMNIA cooperative purchasing pricing.
I second. Call the question?
Counselor Fulton.
Yes.
Counselor Frega.
Yes.
Counselor Malmberg.
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Now moving on to item 2 under G, System Development Charges Methodology Updates. Now, I believe I need to go directly into a public hearing on this, correct? Okay. So it is, I think our clock is an hour off here, so it is 5:42. The one behind, the one I'm looking at is anyways, 5:42 on November 10th, 2025. The public hearing on the water, wastewater, stormwater, and transportation system development charges methodologies update is now open. The record has been closed on this matter and no additional oral or written testimony will be taken. City staff will answer any questions that the council has regarding this matter. A motion may then be made and the council will then begin deliberations on this matter. By show of hands or voice on the phone, do any councilors have any ex parte contacts to declare for this matter? Was that a yes?
Yes and no.
No, okay. So I see no hands raised, I hear no, so moving on to the next question. By a show of hands or voice over the phone, does any counselor have any personal bias or personal interest that would preclude their participation in hearing this matter?
No.
Hearing no and seeing no hands raised, moving on to the next question. By a show of hands or voice, does any counselor have any potential or actual conflict of interest to declare for this matter?
No.
No.
See no hands raised, hear no. Does anyone object to the jurisdiction of the city council to hear this matter? Seeing no hands raised, not hearing any objection, we will now proceed to the council agenda report.
Thank you, Mayor Hodges, members of the council. You may recall we hired a consultant, Donovan Enterprises, Steve Donovan, to assist us with the review of our existing system development methodology and how we charge system development fees. We have been engaged. We've had you guys have been involved in multiple council workshops, sort of talking about this, and then along that road as well, staff has been working with Steve Donovan to adopt or develop, and you guys have adopted new capital improvement plans. Here we are tonight to sort of finalize this process, which is to adopt the methodology that's presented to you today. And hopefully maybe get some direction from you for staff on fees, which I prepared sort of a lengthy motion with some options here, and they're highlighted on the front page 1 through 4. During this process, you guys are, of course, can engage in a discussion on what direction you'd like to go and pick one. I've attached the resolution. I've attached the methodology presented by, or that's proposed through Donovan Enterprise. I've also attached the final report that we, essentially this is the deliverable from the consultant firm that we hired to do this work. So with that, if you have any questions.
And so the findings in the report based off of Donovan's assertion is that we should increase the system development charges by a, I wouldn't say nominal amount, but fairly small amount based on their assessment of future needs for the community for transportation and wastewater and water. And it looks like it was last done in 2019. Is that correct?
The last.
The last time the system development charges were assessed, the last time that we took a close look at how we assess the system development charges.
No, we haven't done anything like that. What we did was the last move that we made on SDCs was that we froze raising them in 2018.
Okay.
So, and funny, it's interesting, had we continued to raise SDCs per our, if we use the percentage that we use on our master fee schedule, our actual fees probably would have come close to what he's presented, or is actually asking for.
Right.
But no, we haven't made any moves other than to just freeze charging or raising them every year, and that was 2018. We haven't revised any methodology or how we calculate them or anything like that.
And then, so it's roughly 2,000 up for a single-family dwelling. And it's my understanding that it does not preclude the council from potentially looking at options moving forward. I know that it's a high priority for a lot of council members, myself included, to look at how can we encourage low-income housing, multifamily dwelling units. But so if we were to adopt accepting these fees as recommended, it wouldn't preclude us from looking at policies in the future to address incentives for multifamily housing units, correct?
Correct.
And I think it's very clear, but I just want to make sure it's clear. We have in the workshops and tonight as well, really, I think, stated that it is, we can, my words, disconnect the fee right now from the methodology, which is your option 4.
Correct.
As I read it. Okay.
Yes.
Isn't it my understanding too, based on the staff report, that that's actually staff recommendation, that we approved the methodology?
Correct. Approve the method, give staff direction 1 through 4 on what direction you'd like to go. And then again, through policy, we can craft a policy that would address specific housing needs in the future.
One thing I really appreciated about this study is that it makes it very clear that this is trying to put the burden of the infrastructure growth in a very equal manner, so that those who are part of the growing community are paying their fair share, while the burden isn't on already developed areas of the community. And I noticed some fees they actually recommend go down while others go up. Just a real equitable way that they went about trying to assess the way to come up with the methodology. I very much appreciated, and that was, I thought, very clearly outlined within the study.
Thank you. Any other thoughts or discussion, Councilor Fulton?
No.
Anyone else? Councilor Martin?
I was just going to say, I favor either option 1 or option 4. I know the importance of SDCs. It's concerning, though, that Brookings has among the highest in the state, and to make those even higher, this is for the wastewater, but ours are already substantially more than double most communities. But I don't know what the solution is for the for a new rate, so I'd rather freeze them or adopt the methodology and then still figure out what the new rate structure would be.
I do wonder that myself as to why some of our fees are higher, but I can say that one thing that I know within our state is that the property tax revenues are not keeping pace with inflation as far as paying for our costs. And Brookings seems to sometimes be on the head end of the power curve of putting in some different revenue sources to provide revenue streams for needed infrastructure. And so I do wonder if part of that is why our fees might be higher, that other people might be behind that power curve. But I would like to know why, if they've done these types of studies, or if they have them, and the bottom line is the money has to come from somewhere. And so this puts the burden on those who are actually developing the new properties rather than the city trying to find other ways to fund that. And that money has to come from somewhere. So if other communities have figured out other solutions, I would be curious as to what they're using to develop those. So I would be in favor of maybe the number 4 of us trying to continue to take a look at those fees. And I do appreciate that we have the ability to target specific needs. I think that's important to do, no matter what the decision is on the fees.
If I might add something. Just wanted to remind you, we approved a capital improvement plan. The capital improvement plan is what's driving the fee structure, the current recommendation for the fees. So to compare it to another community, you really have to take in what their capital improvement plan needs are and match that. I just want to be clear, that's what's really driving this fee adjustment, is what our capital improvement plan says we need to spend. And I don't recall the number, like how long that capital improvement plan should last. But that's what that fee is generated from. It's not really, there's not a magic formula. It is the capital improvement plan and what our needs are in the future.
And it sounds like to truly compare us to other communities, we would need to do a little bit more of an in-depth look, because many of these other communities don't have all of the facilities that we're providing. Maybe they exclude wastewater, maybe they exclude water because it's funded under another mechanism instead of through this. So to truly, have an apples to apples comparison, we would need to do a deeper dive. And I don't know that it's, and maybe it isn't totally, true that we're substantially higher than other communities. It's just that their fee structure is different than ours.
One last thing to note. I know that if you guys are interested in 1 or 4, and I didn't include it in here, but I thought it'd be worth discussing, is I don't know, do you want to just leave it, for example, 4, take no action on fee adjustments at this time, but do you want to add, revisit in 2 years, 5 years? Do you want to add something at least so that we can prepare for that? Or do you just want to not?
So
add a time frame.
If we took that action, that would essentially be number 1, but would have a timeline of when to address it again.
Right, and we froze the fees in 2018 per council direction, so that would be something I feel comfortable. The staff needs direction from you on what your thoughts are. Do you want to take this a certain period of time and then revisit it then, or just let council in 3 years cross that bridge? Like, what's the mechanism to bring it back to you, if you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there needs to be a mechanism for staff to say, hey, we need to revisit this again at that time in 3 years. You want to keep them the same, I just feel like there needs to be a mechanism in the motion to kind of keep this going.
So I like that, and I think that is probably, in my view, essential, because you need to have some sort of loop closure on bringing this back around for the fees. But number 1, as I read it, really, that isn't adopting the new methodology, whereas 4 is.
Right.
Right. So I think that's the other thing that 4 brings, which I believe, I know I appreciate having the methodology, and so I would hate to lose that, because that does give us the framework that we need. I mean, for me, I get it. I mean, when you freeze rates, like, there's a reason. I'm sure there was a great reason, but then you lose all this ground. And here we are, and to what Counselor, I think Pareda said earlier, the money has to come from nowhere, or somewhere, I mean. And so, as long as we put a time frame to that, to say we've got to address it, then I'm good with that. Because I also don't want to stifle, our, anyone that's, coming in and dropping these big increases, but we've got to figure it out.
I tend to agree. I think we went through the time and effort of paying a consulting firm to do a lot of work and developing these SDC methodologies based off of our, as Tony mentioned, capital improvement plans for the future. And if we don't want to, adopt a dollar value at this point, I think I'm in agreement. I'm totally fine with that. But at least I would support adopting the methodology so that we could have a path forward to addressing.
I personally also think not 2 years. I think it has to be done sooner, like a year at the most, personally.
I would personally agree with that same sentiment, Mayor. I think that we can't move forward traction and not come up with some kind of plan and just continue to put it off. So I think revisiting it and addressing it more quickly is important.
The more I think about it, I favor option one. Our fees are not low. The increase is not a substantial amount either, where they're already high. There's plenty of revenue coming in from these fees when we have new construction. And I would rather keep it, freeze it at current levels, and staff would have to prioritize projects that make the most sense, and some of the projects wouldn't be done. But there's still, it's not like we're cutting, and the fees are already substantially high.
So to be clear, you don't want to adopt the methodology?
I'm not in favor of raising any rates at this time, and I would rather see, instead of just delaying this and having the same discussion in a year, when a project needs to be done, the council's job is to prioritize the ones that make the most sense, and some of the projects, we don't have the money to do.
I do think that the recommended motion adopts, either way, it adopts the system development charges methodology. If you read the motion, so it starts with the first part, and then the second part would be the sample motion regarding the fee. Does that make sense here?
I understand what you were saying, Councilor Pareda, but that's why I was trying to clarify earlier. And in the clarification, so however it gets read, I guess that will, if we're keeping the adoption of the system development charges methodology in one, then that's fine, and it's, it's very similar than to 4.
Is the freezing the rate schedule, and so when I look through each one of the fees, some of these fees increased, some of them decreased, based on the fact that there were some areas where the fees were higher and others others we're not keeping pace to pay the improvements that are needed, but some that were already a little higher. So I guess what I'm trying to ask is, if we freeze the fees, does it keep the schedule exactly as it is today without making any adjustment as laid out in the methodology?
Does it freeze the fees as they currently are? That's what you're at?
Without adjusting them as laid out within the methodology.
That's what option one is to freeze them at their current rates.
Still adopt the methodology, though,
Yes.
because the methodology is what we're here to do, is adopt a new methodology. It's what we paid $20-some thousand to hire somebody to do, evaluate our system, our capital improvement plans, and like I said, the fee itself is a separate issue for you all.
And that's what I'm trying to be clear on, is making sure that that is a part of this motion. Because I definitely am not gonna, between 1 and 4.
I believe you can make the motion to freeze the fees at their current level and only adopt the SDC methodology.
Yeah.
That's a motion that you could do as well.
Yeah, that's,
And then in a year, we can revisit if we want to start adding the annual increase that we would have typically done, which would have got us to this number had we kept it going. We can revisit that in a year or choose not to. And we could start that in a workshop, and I'm not going to take it any further if y'all are interested.
no, again, I believe it needs to be addressed. So, just in discussion with number 1, making sure we are clearly stating that we're going to enact the new methodology. If we add and address the fees at 11 of 2026, does that sound concerning to you?
I'm fine with either 1 or 4.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion, unless somebody else really interrupts me here, to adopt resolution 25-R-1285, enacting the new system development charges methodology for the city of Brookings water, wastewater, stormwater, transportation, and park system, and freeze the SDC fees at their current rates and readdress these fees in November of 2026.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Okay, Counselor Freda.
Yes.
Counselor Mulberg.
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
That's what they're doing.
Counselor Fulton. Mayor Hodges.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Donna, do I need to close that hearing?
Yeah.
Or should I have closed it before the vote?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that hearing on the, public hearing on the water, wastewater, stormwater, and transportation system development charges methodology update is now closed at 6:06 PM. Okay, moving on to H, informational non-action items, October vouchers. It's quite a few. Okay, no discussion. Moving on to remarks from mayor, councilors, and city manager. I'll open it up to Councilor Pareda and Fulton first, since they're on the phone.
Sure, I'll go first. Just a huge thank you to our veterans everywhere, and especially to those in our community. The sacrifices that you and your family make in this type of instance is appreciated very much. So, and thank you, Mayor, for discussing the proclamation and doing that. That was really awesome.
I just echo Ms. Fulton's remarks, and I also wanted to mention to my fellow counselors and also the city staff that the regional meeting for LOC is actually going to be in Gold Beach this month, which is on the 20th from 11 to 1. And most often these are further up the coast. And this one in particular, there is going to be an organization called Community Heart and Soul, which is really about trying to solicit the input from your community as to what they value, how they want to see their community develop. So I'd love to see anybody on our council and in our staff who is able to participate in that, register in attend.
Thank you. City manager?
Just glad to, I'm glad to be here and not at the hospital. That's all I have to say.
We're glad to have you. And you look like you're doing well.
I had a little assistance in tying my shoes tonight, so that's all. So, other than that, it was good. So.
Good. Well, it's great to see you.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting to see you, to be honest. Quick healing. No, I usually go to the end, but I'll go ahead and jump in now. So I wanted to agree, a big thanks to all of our veterans. And it's a privilege to be able to be a part of these proclamations, specifically our veterans, and to name everyone on that list. And hopefully no one was missed. I doubt anyone was, but if they were, we'll make sure to catch that. And I want to make sure to say thank you to you as well. And in the city around us, I know that we have quite a number of veterans in our county. So, just take the time to say thank you, especially tomorrow as we have the actual day to remember our veterans and celebrate them. And then I also, proclamations, we had missed, we hadn't been at the last meeting, so canceled it. So to catch up, we had a proclamation for against bullying that I came in for. And again, something I was happy to be a part of. Had a couple youngsters and a community representative here, and we read the proclamation and had a photo up here in the city hall, so that was nice. So again, it's great to be a part of that. And then the last piece on my list, which has been a little bit coming, but I will be stepping down as the mayor for Brookings, Oregon. I will say have a lot more to say in the meetings to come, but I wanted to announce it tonight because January 12th is what I suspect will be my last meeting. It'll give us a couple of months to make adjustments as needed, and if sooner, if the council decides to go in a direction that we end up needing me to step out sooner, I'm happy to do that. There's no salacious reason for this. I'm just simply moving out of the city limits, and our rules is that the mayor or anyone on the council has to live within the city limits, and so that is the reason. That's what people don't have to guess, but anyways, I'll have more to say, but I just wanted to announce that tonight that I will be stepping down, and at the latest, January 12th of 2026 will be my last meeting. So that's what I have to say. Councilor Martin or Malmberg?
And I'm sure we'll have more opportunity to do it, but I just wanted to say how thankful I am for all the hard work and dedication that Mayor Hodges has put in thus far. I've been proud to serve alongside of him. I think he's done an excellent job as mayor, and it's big shoes to fill for whoever takes on that role. But I really appreciate all the work that he's put in on that, and also echo what Councilor Fulton and Councilor Paredes said as well as Mayor Hodges about Veterans Day tomorrow. I know that they're holding a service over at the Veterans Hall, and there's a flyover I think at 11 or so tomorrow. I thought I saw them fly over today. Maybe they're doing a little test run, but anyways, yeah, hope to be there for that, and really appreciate all the local community events that honor and memorialize our veterans. I know that the Elks did a veterans memorial, or not a veterans memorial, a veterans dinner last night, I believe. Anyways, a lot of people put a lot of hard work and effort into honoring our veterans, and appreciate all the sentiments, and that's all for me.
Thank you.
I just wanted to echo what Councilor Malmberg said. I've known Mayor Hodges for a long time, back to Boy Scouts and youth football, and I don't think either of us thought that we'd be sitting here one day, but Isaac's done an outstanding job as mayor, and I'm sad to see him step down. Obviously, it's a simple reason for moving outside the city limits, but he's done a great job as mayor, and I think the city's going to miss him filling that position. He's been an outstanding advocate for the community and the city, and he's been great to work with here on the council. So, but he's still in the community.
Not going far. Not going far. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, we'll have some more meetings coming up, more to go. But I think if we're all done for tonight, I'll go ahead and call the meeting at 6:14.